Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Monkey in the Morning. I'm your host, Ranting Monkey. This is not yet Friday, but it will be in a couple of minutes. We're going a little bit old school here, guys. This is Monkey still had shit left over to say, and I'm not waiting to say it. So with me, Jack, how you doing, my friend?
Not bad, not bad. How about yourself?
Not too bad. A little annoyed with Twitter YouTube for getting me with the language strike for a video. Not a strike, you guys, just a yellow circle. I've been very careful not to say fuck in the opening of the show because that's when they say I can't do it, and I don't do it in the title. I don't understand what I did wrong there, so YouTube, blow me. That's so annoying, Jack. How do they get to decide when I tell them when my opening is over? And I tell them I can say fuck. I feel like that's fair warning to them.
You would think so, but apparently they don't believe in free speech. So
apparently not. And we'll see what happens with that, with Trump's new thing. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. Oh, you sent me that story. Yeah. This was a story we read on Lords of the Night. Apparently, George Floyd and what's his name? Chauvin? The officer Chauvin, I think is how you say his name, Chauvin. They worked at the same strip club for quite a long time. That hasn't been confirmed outside of the original article anywhere that I've seen, but it is an interesting tidbit if that's true. The owner or previous owner of the establishment, she recently sold it, says they worked overlapping shifts, but she doesn't know if they actually knew each other. So apparently the officer worked outside security while Mr. Floyd worked inside.
Yeah,
no, thank you. Oh, go ahead.
I've worked enough security to know they had to have talked to each other a few times. Like he had to have known who that was when he took him down.
Nope. Thank you. Minneapolis police precinct is burned down. Yeah, the third precinct there, the one they destroyed cars in the other day. The police abandoned it a little while ago, and the protesters set it on fire. That makes sense because it was the entire precinct that did it. And you guys won't need police for a while, so it's all right. You know.
Oh yeah, this is anarchist wet dream.
You know, that's something I wanted to talk about. That's why Capitalism Sucks, or however I put it, is in the title there. I've noticed some things today, Jack, that have made me just go, You know, there have been some incidents. Let's call them incidents, shall we?
Okay.
That you might have thought, okay, this is going to bring back Black Lives Matter, that kind of thing. And it never does. It's like, okay, maybe there's a small protest, that kind of thing. But for some reason here, and maybe I just chalked it up to the fact that we see the video and it's so blatant, and that just set people off. But I do wonder if there's a little bit more to it. If there are some let's call them agitators in the crowd.
Yeah, Sharpton's already on his way.
Not who I'm talking about. I'm thinking more Black Bloc.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, that's a given these days. I just assume they're going to show up because they enjoy making trouble. They enjoy being involved in trouble, and they love themselves a nice riot. And
here's the thing. I don't want to say for sure they're the ones out there instigating. I'm sure there's some of this that is natural born degeneracy. And yeah, they're degenerates. They're out there burning their town down and stealing things because they supposedly care about a man they never met. And, it's for justice. It's for justice. Bullshit. Nyala, thank you. It's a simian miracle. Monk is streaming when I can watch. Miss you, Monk. I miss you, Nyala. Thank you for watching, and thank you for the donation. Good time to remind them we're brought to them by them, Jack. Guys, we're brought to you by you. I was going to say questions, comments, concerns. That's not what I meant to say. If you enjoy what we do, please hit the like button. Please share. And by all means, if you can, toss some shekels at, are we allowed to call them shekels? Pesos, loonies. Toss some loonies at me and Jack. Kingslayer, thank you. To be honest, I understand Micah Johnson better every day. Who's Micah Johnson? I don't know who that is.
That sounds familiar. I'll look him up.
Thank you. Yeah, because there's a lot of names that I know for news stories, and they, escape my brain until they come back up again. And Jordan, thank you so much. Jack Monkey.
What's up, Jordan?
It's a good thing there's exclamations in between there, so it's not Jack Monkey.
Micah Johnson was the Dallas shooter that killed 5 cops.
Oh,
Black Lives Matter supporter.
Yeah, I got to be honest. I don't think you shoot people you don't know did stuff wrong.
Yeah, not every cop did something wrong. It's just they had a loose cannon who probably shouldn't have been a cop in the first place, and they have a bad habit of having the unions and the higher ups protect the lowest common denominator.
It was weird. Today was the first time I actually saw the opposite angle of the car. Have you seen that footage yet, Jack?
No, I saw it was on there, but there's been so much going on. I haven't had a chance.
Boy. Not only is Officer Chauvin, or whatever his name is, on his neck, the 2 other officers are also on him, one on his back and one on his legs. He was restrained to fuck, dude.
Yeah, he was already in cuffs. I mean, you don't need 3 guys to hold somebody down most of the time, unless they're on PCP.
Let him roll into traffic, man. He's not going to get that far. Anyhow. But, yeah, I saw that. I'm like, yeah. But the prosecutor's office came out, and they said that the reason they haven't moved this fast is, he actually says this, Jack, that it's against his ethics to speak about the case. And and then speaks about it a little bit. Thank you, Gamer Valine. Lurk message, because work is kind of busy where I can only listen. Let's not forget about the riots over Arpaio. Oh, wait. Yeah. There's a Teletubby dancing on my screen. Monkey in the Morning is brought to you by us. And by us, I mean the chat, not us as in me and Jack. Thank you, Pete. Pete, that's very kind. But yeah, he came out and he said that they're not going to be bullied into making charges, is basically what he said. He actually said there's some evidence that makes that, or that shows them not to be guilty. And I think he may have he may end up regretting the way he stated it.
Yeah, I think he will.
Because no matter what happens with these cops now, their lawyers now have the head prosecutor guy showing there's evidence that shows they're not guilty. Good job. Well played, you stupid motherfucker.
I think this is going to be an excuse not to press for a trial.
Ex-Bubba Hotep, thank you. Maybe they were scared he had strength. Perhaps. I mean, but he was already cuffed on the ground. Fuck, sit on his ass, man. At least then he can still breathe. He's not going to do anything to you. Anyhow.
Yeah, I have a sneaking suspicion the prosecutor's going to try and weasel out of going after these guys.
It'll be interesting to see their justification if that's what they do.
Yeah, at best, I think they're going to give them some softball plea deal where they get like a slap on the wrist and maybe just a minor amount of time. I would not be surprised by that, the way the prosecutor was talking.
Gamer Bleen, thank you. In the surveillance, they sweep his leg. By the way, top left at the end. Watched in HD. Thanks, CBS, for the one useful thing HD broadcast. I haven't seen it in HD. I can still only, I've seen the blurry footage of it. I can't tell what happened there. Either way, it's that 7 minutes that concerns me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the part that's like, I have questions that you can't possibly answer because there is no answer. I did like this guy, at the very least, Jack, if the police force actually does have a policy about not using this kind of hold, which they claim they did, at the very least, these guys could already be arrested for excessive force.
Oh, yeah.
Period. That doesn't mean you can't throw a murder charge on later, but you could at the very least get him for that. Because he actually accuses him of that in this thing where he's, I'm I'm not going to come out there and talk about this because of ethics, but they did wrong. But they also might. There's evidence that they didn't do wrong. Like, what?
That
Dude,
makes no damn sense.
Yeah, he did not seem to be enjoying his press conference. But yeah, so I mean, no charges yet. Again, if you go back to that the Thomas case, that took over a month for charges. The 2011 case, Kelly Thomas, I think is his name. A lot of these times, it takes a while for cops to be charged. And the chick in the press conference today, she kind of explains why. You know, they have to take special considerations because they're cops, and cops do have the ability to use some force within justification, you know?
Yeah.
And that's true. I feel like when you're already telling me what they did was against police procedure, then that's not justified use of force. I'm just saying. That's me, but what the fuck do I know? I'm just some idiot on the internet, right?
Well, I think they actually have a lot more concern about the department being investigated if this is the type of thing they're trying to look the other way on, because that's how it looks.
Yeah.
But if the DOJ wants to come in and investigate now, they could say all the personnel files just burned up in the 3rd precinct. So
Gamer says murder has to show intent to kill. Not always. It depends on the state. So maybe that is the case in Minnesota. There are specific murder statutes that are unintentional murders.
Yeah, and if there's enough bad cops on this force, they might have just left everything in the precinct to let it get destroyed so that they have plausible deniability about any other accusations that might come out. I think the worst thing the protesters or the rioters could have done was burn down that precinct.
You know what was really nice of them today? They were waiting outside of businesses for them to be busted open before they went in. It was almost like they were Christmas shopping.
Oh yeah, it's like ghetto welfare.
They waited until the shoe store was actually, but everybody waited outside in a non-agitated state, obviously grieving, until the place was actually broken into before they all rushed inside to steal their condolence shoes.
Yeah.
There was a narrative I saw emerging that's really bothering me. And it's the mixture of this anger over George and the socialist commies coming in for their "this is our rise up" moment.
Mm-hmm.
We saw it with the tweet I read yesterday, guys, from Eugene Goo. This is our moment. This is the start of the revolution.
No, revolutions are well organized. This is a riot.
Well, there's a lot of them who are saying that no, maybe this is it. You see, what it is, Jack. People have been downtrodden for so long. The rich people have been holding them down for so long. They're not going to take it anymore.
Oh, is that it? Then
yeah.
Is that why Hong Kong is being taken over right now?
This is what I saw today, man.
That's fucking stupid.
I also saw protests don't work. What do you expect them to do? Well, probably not destroy their own town.
Yeah, maybe don't destroy all the businesses in your local area.
I just love this notion. It's not peaceful protest isn't working. What do you expect them to do?
Peaceful protests do work. You win hearts and minds that way. Rioting, nobody likes. You're not winning anybody over to your cause.
Let me ask you this. Let's say we apply that same line of thinking to, I don't know, abortion protesters. They've been protesting for, 60 years now? Well, it was 70, so what? 50 years now. Protesting it. Would it be okay for them to start burning down cities because protesting just isn't working?
Yeah, obviously. I mean, as long as you follow the right causes, it's not rioting. It's just super protesting.
Yeah. So all you pro-life folks out there, the left is giving you permission because protesting doesn't work. Go burn shit down. Don't go burn shit down. Let me I need to say that. Do not go burn shit down. But
real quick on the Streamlabs. Thank you, Okie Native. I was going to use this for a mask for my grandmother, but she's old and you might need cheap Chinese food.
Oh, there you go.
Well, thank you. I'll think of your grandmother while I'm at the buffet. And thank you, formerly Rodline. I had to put my dog down today. I won't have to buy dog food for a while. So here, take what I've been saving. Thanks. I'm sorry about your dog.
Yeah, sorry about your dog, but good on you for spending it on Jack. The notion that it's okay to just start breaking shit and stealing shit and burning shit because you're not getting your way. I mean, if it leads to a full-on revolution, then you can claim it was a revolution. Until then, it's just a riot.
Yep.
And that's what you're doing right now out there. And I don't for a minute believe most of the people out there give a shit about politics or George. I'm just, to be honest with you, I don't believe they care about any of that shit. I think you have agitators out there who care about it. Not about George. I don't believe any of these people give a fuck about George. Not even a little bit.
They might be slightly annoyed by the whole thing, but I don't think any of them knew him or care that he died. They just look for a reason to go steal shit.
Ex-Bubba Hotep, thank you so much. Protest Plus, since they like adding plus to the end of everything. Indeed. Protest Plus. Where consumer goods cure what ails your poor heart. And thank you, Miles, who says, hey, guys, they're not loiterers. They're undocumented shoppers. Yeah. These, they're just destroying. They're going to destroy this whole town.
Oh, probably. And it looks like no one's doing anything except the governor called out the National Guard, but that's just going to make things worse. Unless
they're prepared to use deadly force to protect property, it's not going to matter.
Yeah.
Thank you, Justin. Does this count towards reparations? I think you got the wrong skin color for that, my friend. But I appreciate it.
I vote yes, but I don't get a vote in this.
I just love the note. We have to tear society down because it's not working. Have you guys paid attention? It's funny because you know what's trending on Twitter today, Jack?
Some dumb shit.
Lots of dumb shit, but Black Wall Street.
Black Wall Street?
Do you know the story?
What does this have to do with Black Wall Street?
It does if you look at it the right way, not the way people were trying to mean it. Because there's several people convinced that the government is in there agitating this. I'm like, yeah, that's what they're doing.
No, I don't think Trump would benefit from this.
Here's the long and short of Black Wall Street for those of you who don't know. This happened in 1921 in the city of Tulsa, Oklahoma. I forget the man's name, but this guy, he bought up this large chunk of land, a black man, and he only would sell that land to other blacks. And it became a very profitable center. This was, in 21, you're still talking serious segregation to where like blacks weren't allowed to buy something from a white person, you know? So they were able to, their own economy running in this area, and it went very well. It was going very well for them. And then a young man was arrested for reportedly assaulting a white woman in an elevator on Memorial Day weekend. He got arrested, and a whole bunch of dumbass hillbillies went to the courthouse. They wanted to lynch his ass. And a whole bunch of black people came to the courthouse determined to save him. And a huge riot broke out that left anywhere, depending on what numbers you look at, Jack, because it goes anywhere from 36 to 175. But believe it or not, the death toll isn't the real story here. The real story is all of the businesses that are down this area were burned. A riot just sweeps through the whole place as there's an honest to God race war. And they just burn the whole city down. And it's still not really back. It just devastated the people who live there. That's what happens when you raise a town. Whoops, my bad. It doesn't come back quickly. This isn't something you can just like, oh, we'll build it tomorrow. We'll rebuild it tomorrow. That's not how it works, man. You just destroyed everything. Hey, Monkey, YouTube just told me we're live. They're right. But yeah, so I mean, if you look at it that way, Jack, it has some relevance here because that's what they're doing to this town right now. They are absolutely destroying this town, and it's not going to come back in any kind of meaningful manner. And I saw one person, I forget who it was, like, oh, suddenly all that anybody cares about is the economics of areas. No, dumbass, that's not what's being said here. Look, I am not happy George Floyd is dead, and I think I've made that perfectly clear. I'm not happy that these officers haven't already been fucking put in handcuffs and aren't sitting in a jail awaiting trial right now. But that doesn't mean that it is ever okay to see what we're seeing right now. I've seen people compare this to the fucking Boston Tea Party, dude.
That's dumb. No, they would have to have done something way more egregious, like, I don't know, killed someone for not social distancing, and then started taxing and arresting everybody that was, in an effort to silence them or something. It'd have to be way more tyrannical. People are looking for a reason to have what they think is a glorious revolution. There's no revolution that has ever been blood-free and didn't result in massive amount of dead people. People have this mythological idea of what revolutions are, and they feel like it's this giant glorious thing. No, it's a hideous and bloody thing with lots of innocent dead people. They don't grasp that. They don't care. They have this vision that they think needs to be fulfilled. That's why anarchists are idiots.
Now, thank you. Black man dies. Response for justice. Burn, vandalize, steal, attack. Needed businesses for employment and Wuhan affected people. Win? No. Low-grade criminals and low-life stealing things. Jackpot. Selfish mofos. Thank you, Corey, who says, wait until they complain about unemployment now. And thank you, Justin, who says they destroyed unfinished low-income housing. That's true as well.
Thank you
all.
Thank you, Evolved Potato. Am I the only one who hasn't seen a peaceful protesting of police in the last few years that hasn't turned into car burnings and lootings? Exactly, man. That's just it. There's a lot of agitators out there, often sponsored by these groups like Antifa or whatever that creepy Soros fund is. But you see people that want to instigate these things. We do need the police. You are not going to have a civilization if you are run by gang warfare, unfortunately. So, but there has to be oversight and checks and balances. But that doesn't mean go burn your fucking city down.
Jack Gunsky set up here. Why do people treat economics like it's not important? Economics are directly related to the welfare of the people. Yeah, we've seen this with both COVID and now what's going on in Minneapolis. It's like, why do you guys care so much about the economy? Like, well, because I'd like people to be able to eat. That seems like a good thing, right?
Yeah,
I'd like them to have houses and nice things that you can loot one day.
Well, that's just it. Like the rioters don't seem to understand or care that by destroying these businesses, you're going to make everybody gun shy to rebuild.
Exactly.
And
not just gun shy to rebuild. The ones who are willing, you're going to make this is very important. Insurance companies the insurance will be too high for some of them to rebuild.
Yeah. And there's an economic disincentive to open a business there because you don't know if anybody's going to come in and save you if there's rioters or looters, because obviously the cops aren't doing anything and the National Guard isn't going to do anything. But if they do something, that's almost as bad because then you have them killing people, because that's what's going to end up happening is there's going to be a bloodbath. So why would you want to build in a high taxed area that has a propensity for riots that are uncontrolled and unmonitored? The cops are fleeing. That's not a good sign. Obviously, they're not going to protect your business or the homes of your employees potentially, because who do you hire? You have low-income people working in a lot of these jobs. So that's just why would you want to build anything there? Why would you want to go there? It's fucking irritating.
Toxic Nightshade, thank you. Just wanted to show a little bit of love. Thank you so very much. Thank you for the donation and for watching. You guys have been very generous this evening.
The audience is awesome.
I feel kind of lazy, though, because most of what we're doing is reading what they're saying.
No, because they're saying a lot of actually important things.
Well, they are, but
the media is not addressing a lot of the points that the audience is bringing up. They're ignoring them. And God forbid you even look at what is happening over in Hong Kong with China. I mean, I've heard more people complain about the lack of social distancing in Minneapolis than I have about the riots.
No, what I was getting at is the audience, they're doing my job for me, Jack, and I appreciate it because they're paying me for them to do my job. Best audience in the world.
Yeah.
No, you guys aren't wrong in a lot of what's been said here. And you're right, Jack. The media still insists on calling them protests. That's my favorite thing. And as I pointed out on Lords of the Night, they keep using this term, protests erupted into violence. Erupted. These are people who went home last night, got some sleep, woke up today, and came out with the specific purpose of, I'm going to loot some shit. I'm going to destroy. It didn't erupt. It was a predetermined scenario. Thank you, Gamer Bleen. My mom was a senior during the MLK riots. Maryland had National Guard at the GM plant to guard the country Greek town, and Little Italy, Baltimore were good and held their own. They can send out the National Guard here, but unless they're willing to actually commit violence on the people committing violence, then it's not going to matter much.
Yeah. It's a cycle, because then the propaganda mills start up on both sides and it becomes even more divisive. And then you end up with the Detroit riots in the 60s, where there were a lot of dead people that didn't get reported in the official accounts until much later.
I saw people I don't know what precinct it was at. I was watching some channel that was showing 3 feeds from people in the area. And one of them was at a police precinct. And the police are all lined up out front, and they're talking to people in the crowd. And this one guy, he'd been hit by a rubber bullet in the stomach, and they showed it. And his skin, it's huge, this big old mess. And he's like, "This don't bother me. I've been shot for real." But the point that I was getting to there, other than how fucking ridiculous that was that they were like, "Oh my God, they did that to you? Were you part of the group that was tearing shit down over there? You're lucky they were using rubber bullets."
Yeah. Yeah, and at some point they won't, because it won't be feasible to use rubber bullets. Rubber bullets don't stop people most of the time. It'll knock you down, but you still get back up and cause problems.
Can the National Guard carpet bomb the area? Probably not legally. Wouldn't you think rioting would be against more dying? Instead, they cost more lives like this. Well, again, I don't think most people out there give a shit. I really don't. These are opportunistic shitbags. They don't care about George being killed. Not to the point where it made them go out and steal shoes. Kiss my ass. Fuck you. Did you see the inside of that Target, man?
Yeah.
It was
everything.
It was stripped bare. There were shelves missing, for fuck's sake.
Well, a good shelf is hard to find.
Yeah. Get a Gatling gun that shoots frozen paintballs. How long do you think this is going to go on, Jack?
A couple weeks.
I'm curious, because with them having to abandon the 3rd precinct and then that being burned down, I can't believe the governor is going to let this go on. And this is what we're talking about with more death, man, because maybe the National Guard will stick with firing rubber bullets, but the first time somebody takes a shot at them.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you've got a lot of people that want to go out and be a martyr too, so they're going to agitate to try and escalate things so they can get famous. I think that's an issue as well.
John Miller, thank you so much. Irritates me how Omar is saying their anger is justified. Is their larceny and arson justified too? Look, the anger over George is justified. That does not justify other violence, though.
Yeah,
because I've seen your complaint there, and I understand what you're getting at there, but I don't know how you watch what happened to George Floyd and not become angry.
Yeah, but anger doesn't have to equal violence. You can be angry and have a protest without having to burn your entire fucking city down like an idiot.
if violence was allowed every time we got angry, society would fall apart.
Yeah,
it's why we literally have laws against it. You can't just go out and just start breaking shit because you're mad. I've seen people put up posts about the larceny being done by cops. There's a video going around supposedly showing a cop breaking into an AutoZone, I think it was, breaking the windows out, smashing them with a hammer. And it's amazing because they've identified him. In the pictures, Jack, the only thing you can see is his eyes, his eyebrows, and a little bit of his cheeks. That's it. Everything else is covered. He's wearing a full black bodysuit and a face mask and all that. But they are convinced they have identified him as a cop. You know what? And Richo, yes, Richo just said it. That guy looked more like Antifa. Yes, he did. From his mannerisms to how he was dressed, that said Antifa to me, not cop. Now, it may turn out that he's a cop. I don't know. But their internet sleuthery all stems from a woman who supposedly dated the guy. Yeah,
whatever.
She doesn't have any kind of axe to grind, does she? But yeah, he's a St. Paul police officer that they're accusing of this. Okay, Native, thank you. A Dollar Tree was looted. Who loots a Dollar Tree?
That's what I'm saying.
Target's empty. What else are you going to loot?
I don't know. There's probably something better than a fucking Dollar Tree around.
Rodline says, check my Streamlabs. Sorry about that, dude. I didn't get the message. My dog, not really dead. I was just trying to mess with Jack. Always great when I can catch you two live. Thank you, formerly Rodline. And I figured as much, but I was playing along. Thank you so much for the donation. Yeah, somebody hit Satsu with a Jack donation tonight, man. I forgot what it was, but Satsu was like, wow, damn. And I just let it hang. I didn't tell him what it was. He's like, that makes me feel bad. I'm like, nah, you know how Jack feels. But yeah, I don't want to talk too much more about this. I just don't know how much longer it can go on, especially with that police station going down. I don't see the government being able to just let it happen anymore.
Yeah, I don't need it. Oh, Nico just sent us something. Demonstrators have moved to the State House grounds and have broken windows. Some have gone inside. Well, oof. Hope you enjoyed your State House while you had it.
Oof.
That's not going to end well.
It's not, man. They're going to have to call in the National Guard and have to use up to and including deadly force if these people don't stop it.
Yeah, it's getting past where it's going to die down. This is clearly not going to die down anytime soon. This is going to be like the Ferguson riots, probably much worse. And if they burn down the State House, the governor has no choice but to do something. People won't stand for that shit.
Well, when they say the State House, are they talking about just like the governor's place, or are they talking about the actual?
It looks like the actual State House.
Oh, wow.
I'll send you the link. Hold on.
Yeah, because
as soon as my machine copies.
That's not a good idea.
No, this could be really ugly.
The
mayor might be a pussy, but I don't think the governor is.
Oh yeah, this is somebody sent it to me over on Nico. I see this. Y'all about to get shot, man. Because there comes a moment in this where the president has to step in.
Yeah, a lot of this. There's probably some federal buildings down there, and the president can order the military to do something about it. The National Guard are more controlled by the governor, but I'm pretty sure the president can probably tell them what to do.
If Obama was in charge, these rioters would be allowed to tire themselves out. Well, in fairness to Obama, the other riots that we saw, I mean, they didn't go to state houses. They didn't take over police stations, did they? Like
I think they tried, but they didn't get in because there were a bunch of cops in riot gear.
Yeah, they were repelled. Once that starts happening, you don't have much choice anymore.
Yeah.
You come out and be like, hey, stop it, or we're going to have to end this, and it's not going to be fun for you. It's just not.
Yeah.
And then if the protesters, I'm using that term as a joke, open fire, they're gonna be put down.
Yeah.
Pincalo, thank you. If Trump steps in, your civil war will probably begin. Probably not.
I don't know about civil war, but there will be strife in other cities then too. Like Antifa will start having like sympathy riots in other towns.
The other riots that we saw, because we saw some in LA yesterday. There was more. I'm sorry, protests. I keep saying riot because I know English. LA, New York. I want to say Miami. I can't remember. I think there was one down in Florida. They didn't get too bad. Nothing like Minneapolis is seeing. And oof, man, this is going to be. Y'all are dumb as shit, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this could be, if they destroy the state house, this could be considered an act of domestic terror.
Yeah.
And that could open a Pandora's box of federal problems for anybody that is out there looting. You're looking at some serious shit if they call in the National Guard with live ammo. Because right now there's only 500 people deployed. You burn the state house down, the governor, that's going to force the governor's hand. People, that's a symbol, whether you like it or not. That's a symbol to the state of the state's authority. And you are directly challenging the authority of the government then. And that has never historically worked out well for people.
Well, the very next post from the guy who posted that, and this was 28 minutes ago, says police have moved in around the State House. Crowd has moved me around State Street and High Street. So yeah, police are coming out. You guys are forcing their hands. You don't get a whine about this. And you've lost any sympathy from me you could have possibly had.
Yeah, because if they had been peacefully protesting, their message would be a lot more likely to get out there because a lot more people would cover it. And they'd have all the sympathetic Al Sharptons and everybody like that out. And on both sides of the aisle, because this was a murder. And it was an act of police brutality. And nobody wants that. But people aren't going to support rioters and looters. That stolen TV has nothing to do with this guy's death. And burning shit down doesn't fix the problems. You just make them worse.
Yep.
You can't let your emotions control the situation. Having unbridled burning rage does not make the situation any better. You have to kind of take a step back and think what is going to make change. And burning shit down is giving the cops a reason to shoot you is not a good idea. If it's the cops you're trying to reform. Yeah, Dangerous is right. If they'd been peacefully protesting, the focus would be on George. Now the focus is on the riots, and that has done nothing to help George get justice for George.
Nope.
This is just accelerating more problems and causing more division, causing more racial tension. This is not about race. This is about bad policing.
And you've already got at least one more person killed.
Yeah. And there'll probably be a dozen more. I'm sure there's a couple dozen missing people that nobody knows about yet.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then you're looking at everybody that's got a grudge now has an opportunity to go out and fix that grudge and get even with anybody they think has wronged them under the fog of war that is going on with these riots, because all the police resources are down protecting the state house and everything else. All these buildings, they don't have time to go respond to other crimes.
Mm-hmm.
And they're burning up 911 resources by people calling in all the fires and stuff like that. They're not getting through with the actual dangerous calls. People that with medical conditions aren't getting the help they need because they can't get through on 911, et cetera, et cetera. It's a catastrophe every time there's one of these riots. It's disgusting.
Thank you, Gamer Valine. Wow, Maryland is smart after all. Oldest state house in rich white people land. No direct public transportation from the ghetto to the state capitol. These people walked. So maybe it has more to do with where violence has broken out so far in the past. But like I said, Jack, I don't want to hang on that too much because it's shit. There's only so many times you can say don't burn down your own city over somebody getting killed if you disagree with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That this is pointless. This is just violence. It's going to lead to more violence. And I hope that new TV was worth it because, yeah. Anyhow, do you think this is going to make that prosecutor move any faster, Jack?
Nope.
Yeah, me neither. Kingslayer Damocles, thank you. Even Hannity was on the peaceful protesters' side pre-riots, and he is pro-police. Sometimes you just got to get out of your own way. Exactly.
Yeah.
I feel like I've shown over and over again that I'm largely on the police's side unless I believe they did something wrong. Over and over again, I'm like, nope, sorry, it was justified. This time, I don't see any justification. I was on their side. And then they did this.
Yeah.
And again, I think there's agitators that are more the problem than actually these people.
Oh, there always are. Like I said, Sharpton's already on his way.
Well, you know what was amazing to me, Jack? If you watch these videos, there's an awful lot of honkies in those crowds.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure it's a bunch of Starbucks crowd.
There's a part of me that's like, that's almost a beautiful thing. And I know I'm going to get in trouble for this. But that's almost a beautiful thing because you have black and white working together to completely destroy their city.
Go big or go home.
Well, it's a nice thing to see, man. I mean, because a lot of people, this is a race riot. It kind of is, but look at the multiculturalism that's going on in this race riot.
Well, to be fair, there may have been a rumor out there that the Starbucks out by where they were burning the Target down had a hidden cache of pumpkin spice latte.
Yeah, they might be getting that in soon. I didn't think about that, Jack. Black and white looting together. Exactly, Faithless. No, I mean, I know that's horrible, but I did have that thought looking at like, it's kind of good to see black and white working together.
Yeah. Dangerous makes a good point. If anything, this will delay justice for George because now they have all these cases to pursue.
Yep.
For like looting and all that. That'll just slow everything down at the prosecutor's office. Oh, we're overwhelmed.
Justin, thank you. Can we talk about what we call girls masturbating? Sure, we can talk about that article. You want to do that one first, Jack?
Sure.
Lighten things up a bit by talking about a really stupid bitch.
Sure. And remember, while you're out looting, make sure you're social distancing.
Yes, please wear your masks, guys. It not only does it keep you safe from COVID, it can keep you from being identified. I don't know if I can show this picture on screen.
This is the hot chick with her hand down her underwear.
Yeah, I like it. It's a nice picture.
Too. It's a very cute picture.
Now, the only problem I have with this picture,
her thighs are fat.
No, her thighs are. God damn you! Her thighs are fine. You're mean. It's the surprised look on her face, like it's the first time she's ever touched it. Because that's not an O face. That's a, oh dear God, what's this?
Oh, I found the little man in the canoe face. Yeah.
You know what? Worst case, we get put behind an 18+ wall. This is for
nudity.
This is for entertainment purposes only, guys. Look at that face. That's not. I'm having an orgasm. That's what did I just touch? That's the first time she's ever touched.
Yeah, she does look very confused.
Maybe
she found a $20 bill in there.
Maybe it's like I thought these were my other pants. Thank you for pointing out. Masturbating with a vagina needs a new feminist turn by Emma McGowan. Emma's one of those women who needs a manual for her vagina. I bet you she's had a beehive up there. Becca says she looks horrified. She kind of does. Ex-Boba Hotep, thank you. Looks like she found teeth. Let's see. Jerking off, spanking it, whacking it, choking the chicken. You know, anytime you start an article like that, you're already telling me all you're trying to do is get attention. I'm almost immediately going to dismiss anything you have to say because you're doing that for attention. Anyway, there are lots of phrases out there to describe masturbating with a penis. But when it comes to masturbating with a vulva and vagina, not so much. The only term that's regularly used is masturbation, which is inherently clinical. Thank you. This is Kyle for the donation with no message. I appreciate it. There's lots of terms, and our chat earlier did it, and you guys can. It's here it goes again. There's lots of terms women can use for masturbating. Nobody's stopping you, lady. If you don't know them, go watch American Pie. There's one used in that movie, and that's an old ass movie, Jack.
Yep.
She calls it double clicking the mouse.
Absolutely.
It was the first time I'd ever heard that, and I loved the phrase, being a computer geek, you know. When you compare that to the florid, engorged, erect language used to describe people with penises masturbating, it becomes very clear the society thinks and feels differently about male and female masturbation. And that's implicit in the way people talk about it. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
Oh my God. This is her problem. This is her problem in life, is she doesn't know enough ways to talk about rubbing her nub, you know?
Talk about first world problems.
In our phallic culture, it is unsurprising that we have far more well-known mainstream slang terms referencing penis masturbation, and then there's a whole list of them, than we do for vulvas. Amanda Montell, writer, linguist, and author of Word Slut, a feminist guide to taking back the English language, tells Bustle. Bustle was
taking it back or conquering it.
Well, that's the thing. Who are you taking it back from? When did you have it? When did women have the English language? I'm not being mean here. I'm being serious.
Oh, they probably invented it. Just ask a feminist.
Probably. You know, for being so strong, it's sad that not having another word for masturbating can stop them and cause them so many tears.
Well, you know, they are very emotional people, the feminists.
This whole story just made me think, yeah, this explains so much.
Yeah, it's the fact that she's ignorant as to what slang is, and she can't spend 2 minutes on Google, but will write a 3,000-word essay on it like a whiny weirdo.
Well, that's funny you said. Google masturbation slang, and you will find hundreds of chuckle-worthy phrases people have come up with, most of which I've never heard of. But the most recognizable ones primarily allude to dicks. So she saw some, and she didn't even know a lot of them by her own words there.
Yeah, and she seems to have some kind of... Well, she did say people with penises, so she probably has some sort of hatred toward men anyway, because she seems very upset about the fact that men have a lot of words for masturbation.
Oh my God, this next... Oh God. Women, what do you think we talk about? Okay, I'm sorry. I started masturbating when I was really young, but I never talked about it with my friends. Jack, when you started masturbating, did you, talk about it with your friends?
No, that's weird and creepy.
That's a woman thing to do anyway. I mean, I might make jokes about masturbating, but I've never sat down with any of my friends and go, all right, guys. So the other night I was watching TV, and Jennifer Aniston came on the screen, and I was alone. So I reached down into my pants, and what do you women think we talk about? I don't get it. I didn't get to talk with my friends about masturbating. Nobody did that because it's fucking weird. Y'all do it now. Women do that shit now, man. As they get older, they start talking about masturbating with their friends. This is something I've learned.
Yeah, that's awkward and weird. I don't want to listen to other people talk about their sex lives. It's gross.
Justin,
you're joking around, one thing, but
yeah, as Justin just said, men joke about masturbating, and but we never talk about it. Exactly. Now, I do tell people that there's nothing wrong with masturbating. I've had that discussion, that everybody does it. You don't need to be ashamed of it, that kind of thing. But I'm not going to tell you how I do it.
Yeah, I don't want to hear about people doing it. Well, I was polishing my knob and I learned this new technique. No, shut up. Nobody does that.
Now, this next part I'm going to have to read the first sentence again. And then just to give this some, I started masturbating when I was really young, but I never talked about it with my friends. Minus that one time during my freshman year of high school when my mom offered to buy me and my best friend vibrators. But I'm pretty sure I blacked out from embarrassment, so that doesn't count. Joe Fabs, thank you so much, who says, fapping er day. Exactly. Look, man, I used to have a very, very pronounced lower right arm. Look like Popeye on steroids. Even when my best friend and I went out to buy vibrators together when we were old enough to do so, we didn't talk about what they would be used for. When asked why she thought that might be, my BFF told me it was just less of a topic of open discussion 20 years ago. Why isn't it an okay open discussion conversation now? It's serious. Honest to God, if one of my friends came to me and honestly started talking about beating off, we wouldn't be friends anymore. Be like, dude, too far. That's not a dude thing to do. Now, I'm not going to say if a friend came to me and they had a personal problem, I wouldn't listen. But if they talked to me about, like, dude, the other night I just started beating it, and it was like, no, you crossed a line that cannot be uncrossed. We do not get to talk to each other anymore. I'm going to miss you, man. But at least I know you know how to keep yourself busy when you're alone. On the flip side, I grew up in a house with 5 brothers and all of their friends. As a result, teenage me knew way more about the particulars of how, why, where, and when boys masturbate. I knew terms, the preferred tools, even what they thought about when they were doing it. Kind of gross, sure, but also educational and informative in ways that I never experienced with my female friends. Jack, that's a little disturbing to me, what I just read.
A little bit.
Yeah, Mata, exactly. What the fuck? Her brothers are effed up. Now, maybe trying to gross out your sister, but she makes it sound like they, you know, what they thought about and how they did it and their preferred tools. Man, when I was in high school, I didn't know there were tools for men to masturbate.
I don't think a lot of them existed back then.
Pincalo, thank you. Men don't host Fantasia parties. Also, good night. Good night, sir. Indeed, right?
Good night, man. Thank you, Pete, on the Streamlabs. I usually start with my cock in my hand, and then you know what? Never mind. This is weird.
Exactly.
Yeah. Thanks, Pete.
And Snubber, thank you. Gas line near the precinct have been cut, and explosive materials have been confirmed in the building. I think your prediction is going to happen, motherfucker.
Yeah, there were shots fired out there, too. I saw that on Twitter.
This is not good.
No.
Lee asked, is she from West Virginia? Sounds like it. Holy shit. Even though I'm sure most of my friends were experimenting with masturbation, the fact that we never talked about it amongst ourselves meant that we never developed the colloquial terminology. I didn't make up beating off. I'm pretty sure that's been around like before my dad was even born, you know?
Yeah.
And a lot of these weird ones you hear on the internet are, you know, people today trying to be clever and all that. But most of them choking the chicken, spanking the monkey, this kind of stuff has been around for a long time. It's not something we men all got together in a masturbation circle and went, you know, we need a name for this.
Yeah, we had a meeting. It was all organized.
Jesus Christ, lady.
I think that's what they think we do at like gentlemen's clubs.
This is what I'm talking about. I don't think this woman knows how men actually interact, and probably because of that fucked up family she grew up in.
Yeah. I would say that was probably a big part of it.
Sweetheart, who'd you lose your virginity to? Were you related? Without a casual, fun, feminist term for masturbating with a vulva and vagina, it is impossible to start a discourse about masturbating in a fun, casual, feminist way. You women literally have parties where you sell your masturbatory tools. I'm trying to be as clinical as she is. Your masturbation toys. You have parties for this shit. What are you talking about? You have no way to have fun ways. Parties, Jack. Like a Tupperware party, but with dildos.
Oh yeah, I've been to one.
You don't. Here's the problem, sweetheart. Despite that weird shit that went on in your house when you were a kid, you're kind of a prude. That's on you. That's not on society. She lost it to Uncle Daddy. Stop it, Sean. We don't know that. It could have been cousin, brother. So here's what I'm proposing. Let's pick one phrase to use from here on out. And that phrase is actually one that's already in use. Rub one out. Should anybody tell her that that's one men use too? That's actually my preferred go-to. Rub one out for men or women. For women, because you rub, and for men, we rub. It's what and
if you're lucky, you rub them together.
In fact, Montel says it was originally a penis referencing term that may have been derived from the terms rubbing a nut or rubbing the rod. What? Rubbing a nut? Has anybody ever heard of that?
That sounds painful.
And busting a nut? Sure. Rubbing a nut. That's not even descriptive. If you're rubbing a nut, gentlemen, you are masturbating incorrectly. Rubbing a nut. All right. So she understands that it is from guys, but she's going to take it back, you guys. So good on her. She's a prude who was probably inappropriately exposed to sex by her brothers. Anybody shocked? Yeah, me neither. I'm just shocked she's a feminist and not on a stripper pole.
She may be doing that too. Remember, that's embracing your sexuality or some shit.
In this clip, oh God, all right. I don't know if I can take that right now. In this clip, Don Lemon says that Donald Trump has, quote, contributed to the environment, end quote, that allowed for George Floyd's death, and says that no one wants to hear from him because he said there were, quote, very fine people, end quote, marching in Charlottesville, which is, has, and always will be a lie, except it's not. You shitbag of a motherfucker. CNN has been trying to blame this on Trump for a day now, easily.
They blame everything on him, though. They're so disingenuous.
Rubbing a nut. That has bothered me, man. Stop saying it, James. Rubbing a nut.
That sounds so painful.
Yeah. Rubbing a nut. I feel like that linguist has missed a thing or two. Here's what you guys do. When you want to, what's the word I'm looking for? Study men. Come talk to us, not each other. Because y'all don't know shit.
They know enough about your evil penis-y ways.
Expo Hotep, thank you. Worst journalist of the year, Don Lemon. Worst journalist of the year. And John Miller, thank you. Could Don Lemon just fade into irrelevancy? No, because CNN pays him a whole lot of money to stay relevant. I wish he would, but no, he can't. He makes too much money. Don Lemon rubs his nuts. Stop it. I don't need that picture in my head. Oh, man. But, I've seen this. I used to read Cosmo a lot, Jack. True story. I actually did. And I didn't mind most of it. The only parts that really bothered me was the dating advice, because it was women giving dating advice to women. And it was always single women giving really bad dating advice to other single women. Yeah,
single cat ladies should not give advice on dating.
Women should probably not give advice to other women about men, because y'all don't know fuck about us. I got to be honest. Now, hashtag not all. I should say that, right?
Yeah.
And to be quite honest, gentlemen, you should not take advice about women from women either, because they don't know themselves either. I'm gonna get in trouble now. Women don't know shit. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Well, it's their tiny girl brains. There's not enough space to hold anything like logic and reason, stuff like that. It's all emotion and babies.
You have to find a woman who's willing to actually be honest and who's not trying to feed you some Harlequin bullshit. That idealized kind of thing that doesn't really exist. There's women out there who will give you good advice on women. You're better off going to talk to any random dude. Like, dude, I'm having woman trouble. Could you help me? And they'll probably give you better advice than most women will. Sorry, ladies. So am I doing it wrong when I try to translate female for men? Depends on how you're doing it. Because the honest truth about women is a lot of time women lie. And I'm not being mean. That I don't mean like they're flat out lying to you, but things like, what's wrong? Nothing. Motherfucker, you better go buy flowers or whatever it is she likes.
Or you know what you did.
Yes.
I forgot, but yeah, I probably did something.
No, I've actually run into that before. Like, you know what you did. Like, I don't. Well, if you don't know what you did, then it doesn't matter. Like, apparently it does. Apparently it does. It matters a lot. College age girls are all insane. Stay away. Women are all insane, man. It just depends on the level. Sometimes in the college years, they may be over 9,000. Just saying.
Oh, looks like Louisville's having some shots ring out too.
Oh, dear Christ.
They're having a protest down there for Breonna Taylor.
I saw that name today. I'm not familiar with the case.
She was killed while the police were executing a no-knock warrant.
Oh.
Back in like March.
Yeah, I saw her name today, and there was another one I saw.
Remember, this was the one where they were the boyfriend shot back or shot it because he thought they were being burgled.
Yeah,
and they fucking killed this lady. Well, they're having a protest down there, so I thought I'd fill you in.
Yeah, and it's going to be, one of the things I knew was going to come up with this George Floyd thing is the number of police killings. Police are killing too many black people. They're killing too many people.
Yeah, it's not about
that's not always their fault. There's a lot of justified homicide in police work.
Yeah, and that's going to happen because they're dealing with people that are committing crimes. So
sometimes with guns.
Yeah, you will have that happen. Yeah, I do need to clarify this Breonna lady. They had the wrong house.
Yeah.
So she was an innocent person, and so was her boyfriend. And they're trying to charge the boyfriend with attempted murder of a law enforcement officer, which I think is bullshit because they got the fucking house wrong.
Faithless says too many black people are forcing encounters. No. Too many people. There are, if you look at, I believe it's the Washington Post kept a tally for 2019 of police shootings, confirmed police shootings, and linked to each of the people and what happened. Something like 330 white people, 220 some blacks, and then the other races made up the rest of the 1,000-some people that were killed. It is a higher percentage of blacks killed than are, a percentage of the population, but more whites are still killed by police than blacks are.
That's because we have a mostly white population.
Ding, 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 ding. Criminals get killed by police, not whites, not blacks, not Asians, not Hispanics. Criminals, and sometimes, yes, innocent bystanders. But this notion that it's just blacks, and I'm sorry, Faithless, I'm not really yelling at you here, but this is a notion that I'm fighting desperately against because it's wrong. It is wrong to make this a black and white issue like it's being done. This isn't race. And again, if you look at what we saw with the George Floyd case, there's nothing there you can point to other than the color of the officer and the color of the victim to say this was racist. Nothing. We don't have any audio from these guys yelling the N-word or dropping any racial slur, and we have some audio there, but none of it is in any way racialized. But they made this a racist incident, and it shouldn't be. It's pissing me off, Jack.
Yeah, I think you're going to see more that it's a socioeconomic issue than anything else. It just happens that a lot of poor black people all live in the same area.
Look, and poor people tend to commit more crime than anyone else. That's just fact.
Yeah.
Not poor white, not poor black, poor people. And there's going to be, well, poor black people commit crime on a greater scale than poor white people. Okay. They're also, like you said, black people are more concentrated in the country. They're like black concentrate. They're in Chicago, New York, Minneapolis. They're in city centers where your poor white people live like where I do. You have a lot less criminal activity.
Yeah.
There's less people. You can't go rob nobody here. There's nobody here.
Yeah, we're stealing. Real quick, thank you, Piccolo. Rubbing a nut, the special code when you used when you want the hooker to grind her stiletto into.
Ew.
Yeah. Ow. Ow.
Stacey Gardner. Oh, sorry. Stacey Gardner says, I hate the idea of people always making things about race without evidence. Yes, I agree. I absolutely agree. But we can we stop it? You have news people who have a vested interest in this. You have Democratic politicians who have a vested interest in this. And people, oh, wait, monkey, you can't say Democrat. The fuck I can't.
So what do you think the odds are that at some point this does get ginned up into a race war? Because you got a lot of people agitating on both sides for that.
I don't know. If it does, I'm just happy to live where I live because there ain't no people around me. I'll just have to watch the outcome. I don't know. I wish people would wake up and go, I'm being played here. This has nothing to there again, nothing you can point to say this was racist.
There's a lot of people that have a lot to gain by creating problems like riots. And there are people with nefarious agendas, like communism.
Yeah. And I think that plays actually even a bigger role than race does. And I'll tell you why. And I've said this for a while now. The sex thing, the sex war didn't work. The race war didn't work. They've been pushing that since civil rights, for fuck's sake. And there's a race war coming. Okay. They've been pushing this shit. They've been trying to play the races against each other, the sexists against each other, and it doesn't work. You know what seems to almost always work when you want some revolution, Jack? Rich against the poor, man.
Yeah.
You start a class war. You know why there's...
Go ahead.
You know why you see so many white people in that street down there? Because they're just as poor as the other people in that street down there.
Yeah, they're getting free TVs. Look, poverty is a real problem, but in this country, you have a lot more social mobility than you do in a lot of countries.
Yeah.
Which has kept a lot of this Marxist bullshit from going forward because people used to aspire to do better.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're just expecting it to be handed to them.
And you have these people purposefully pushing this shit in a country where our poor, well, it's not fun. I grew up poor, y'all. It's not fun. We ate. We had a roof over our head. Are there homeless people? Yeah, some. Are there some people who miss meals? Absolutely. Is it anything? Our poor would be absolutely well off in most of the world.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
We have people, but I don't have the newest iPhone, monkey. I have to use this 3rd generation one to call my friends. I mean, we actually have a method for checking whether or not you're poor that includes whether or not you own a TV. That's true. That's on the list of are you poor, is whether or not you own a fucking TV. That's a measure of poverty.
Yep. How many cars do you own, that sort of thing. There are people all over that cannot afford TVs. They cannot afford transportation. They live in shanties. Yeah. Saw a guy on the streets of Jakarta that wore a burlap sack.
Mm-hmm. And again, that's not to say that poor people in our country are having a great old time, but they have it better than they think they do.
Yeah, you have a lot better access here than you do most places, and people do not seem to appreciate that anymore.
You very likely, unless you live in Flint, have clean running water in your home. And even then, you had it until the government fucked it up. It's not like they went, screw the Flintians, pour lead in their water. A lot of people don't understand what happened in Flint, Jack.
Yeah, well, Flint has been screwed up for a very long time.
Well, here's the thing. What happened in Flint, for those of you who don't understand the full story, you only get it from CNN or, the national news. What happened in Flint is that the city decided to switch water suppliers. The body of water wasn't the problem. The pipes are actually the problem, but even they weren't the problem. The problem was that the new company that was doing the water didn't put an additive in there that keeps the lead pipes from leaking into the drinking water. If they had put that additive in there, there would be no problem in Flint. None. They'd still be where they were. That's what happened in Flint. But no, they just hate the poor people in Flint. No. They hired a company that did it wrong. And look, Flint should have been taken care of by now. With all the money that's spent in Flint, they could have redone the entire piping by now.
I'm surprised they didn't. That would have been the easiest and fastest way to do it. But I guess
no.
You gotta pay your cousins.
No, Jack. No. If you teach a man to fish, he doesn't need you anymore.
That's true. That's very true.
You give him that.
I don't know what I was thinking.
You give him that bottled water and tell him, hey, you keep me elected, I'll make sure you have bottled water. You got a fan for life, man. But yeah, I mean, I had to get off on that because too many people don't seem to really understand what happened in Flint. They're just like, there was bad water that came. The water was fine. It was the same fucking water they'd been drinking. It's just from a new company. It was the lack of an additive. And yes, you drink additives in your water, folks, especially if you live in an old home. You probably have lead pipes in your house. Depends on how old your home is. We don't. We actually have the people who built this place, Jack. The guy who built it, he spent a lot of money. All of the water pipes in here are copper.
Wow. Yeah, that's not cheap.
Mm-hmm. He built this house for his wife. And right before they were supposed to move into it, she left him.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, so he sold it to a family that they raised their kids here, and then all their kids moved out, so they sold it to a professor who got a chance to go live in a really hoity-toity place, so he dropped it off for cheap, and we picked it up. Little history of my house, guys. But yeah, it's
Nico
all
said
of it. What's going on?
5th precinct is being abandoned.
For fuck's sake. Yeah, you're going to have to send in the fucking National Guard. Corrosion is a bitch, monk. Mom has copper piping. Ours is fine. We had one break, but that's just because somebody accidentally bumped it when they were working on something else. And when you put it together, the whatever shit you put on there to hold them together, it's not necessarily always very sturdy. You got to be very careful and check your leaks and everything often. Anyhow, but I'll take a little corrosion I have to replace once in a while over lead pipes any day. Especially being on well water, because there's no way to put any additive in it to not get lead in my lungs,
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely time for the National Guard. Definitely time. This isn't the boogaloo I asked for. Be careful what you ask for. Be very specific.
Yep. Even then, that monkey's paw, man.
Yeah. And stop saying boogaloo. The only recognized boogaloo is Breaking 2, Electric Boogaloo.
No.
Yes.
It's been appropriated for the coming boogaloo.
I refuse to accept it.
Hey, the boogaloo may involve breakdancing. You don't know.
If it doesn't, it's not a true boogaloo.
Yeah, they're going to be like, dancing, and then it'll be like, you got served, and then gunfire.
Jesus, man.
That's good.
I'm looking at these pictures, and I've been playing Fallout 4. And I'm just looking at it like, yeah, this is going to look like Fallout 4 come morning. Everything's burned and spray painted and broken.
Yep.
Plastic ABS pipe is the best pipe for water. Yeah. Like our sinks and stuff in here, most of those pipes have had to be replaced and everything. They're all of it is PVC. Well, plastic ABS. Got to use the proper terminating. Before somebody goes, it's not the same thing, monkey.
Did you just say terminating instead of terminology?
Did I?
I think you did.
I have to use the proper terminating, you guys. I got to terminate right, or people are going to get on me about not terminating it.
I will talk to Scribe, right?
Nice polls over on the hashtag, guys. Damn, I haven't looked at this in a while. You guys, the Ass Crack team is still over there, still doing their job, keeping people who follow the hashtag happy. At least it seems that way. There was another story I wanted to talk about, Jack. I want to talk about me.
Oh.
I've been having 2 arguments on Twitter. One I actually got into just yesterday.
What? You arguing on Twitter? Imagine my shock.
I know, right? It's weird. But in both of them, it's been alluded to that I don't know what I'm talking about. And in both of them, I had to give people evidence that they didn't have. And in both cases, they got very mad at me when I gave them that evidence that showed I absolutely knew what I was fucking talking about. And here's the thing, Jack. I get stuff wrong. I'm human, you know. Doesn't happen very often because I'm a smart guy.
And so modest.
When I'm terming and shit, I get it right.
Yes.
But here's the thing. If you're going to come at me, guys, and by all means, if you think I'm wrong, please come to me and be like, Monkey, you're an idiot. Here's what happened. Have your evidence. But don't accuse me of not having evidence and then get mad when I point out it's right. And then, Jack, twice today it was alluded to that I don't have a real job.
Okay.
Y'all know I'm Cripple, right?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to have a real job when you're cripple.
Rub that real job in the cripple's face. It just made me laugh. That's why I actually wanted to talk about it. You guys, I do not have a real job. In case you were wondering, this is what I do. And part of what I do is actually sit and read the news and watch the news and follow links and research shit. And that's why, Jack, there's a new executive order from the president. And there's a lot of misunderstanding about Section 230 of the U.S. Code that covers internet platforms. There's a lot of people, when it comes to platform versus publisher, they've seen some stuff and either the people that they are talking or reading don't know what the hell they're talking about, or they misunderstood it or something. And Section 230 actually gives the platforms, your Facebook, your Twitter, YouTube here, broad leeway in censorship. It doesn't just give them broad leeway in publishing stuff onto the internet or platforming people on the internet. It gives them broad authority to censor. That's written into it. Dangerous Spaces, thank you. Don Lemon blames DT, Donald Trump, while he pronounced this situation was racial with no evidence. Consider your own bloody contribution to these situations, Don. Dangerous.
That's a hate fact.
He would never acknowledge that.
No, he's always right because he's Don Lemon and he rubs his lemon juice on those who disagree.
Random Ass Monkey, do you pay taxes on the money you make? Then it is a real job. I don't pay taxes on the money I make. Lady Monkey pays the taxes on the money I make. I just give her money and she does stuff with it. Because, you can't trust me to remember to do taxes.
Can't trust you to remember to eat.
That's true. Yeah, I would end up in prison. I'd be in there for tax evasion, being like, I didn't know, I forgot, dude. I thought I had till next week.
On the upside, they would force you to eat.
Right. Like, sir, you're 8 years behind. I forget things easy. Y'all don't know. But anyway, so Donald Trump has come out and there's this new executive order. We haven't seen the actual text of it. He signed it yesterday. And the news all reported about it and talked about what they had seen. But I could not find an actual publication of the text of the executive order. But what CNN and the Washington Post both told me is that that Trump is going to have the FCC and the FTC. No, the FEC and the FEC and the FCC. No.
Some alphabet agencies.
I know it's the Federal Communications and is it Federal Trade? I can't remember. Two different commissions that will look at this and determine whether or not companies are abiding by the what's the terminology? The good faith that's mentioned in Section 230. So what Section 230 says is that these companies can't be sued for what's on there. And it also says that they can't be sued for giving people or for blocking or allowing people to block anything that they believe in good faith is objectionable. Now, they list off a bunch of things that mostly make it sound like they're talking about lewd and lascivious, that's the word. Lewd and lascivious stuff. But the very last thing it says, or otherwise objectionable.
That's broad.
Isn't it? It's really, really fucking broad. And I think this is going to turn out to be one of those cases of unintended consequences, Jack. Section 230 probably needs looked at because of that. Because it also says, regardless of whether it's constitutionally protected behavior. Which answers the question, well, what about, what the judge has said in the being able to respond to Donald Trump thing?
Yeah.
However, all of this is going to come together and they're going to have to go in and look at Section 230 because this stuff is going to go up before a court thanks to Donald Trump doing this.
Oh, yeah. It'll end up at the Supreme Court.
And I just can't see the Supreme Court upholding Section 230 in the way it's fucking written.
Too broad and poorly worded.
Too broad and overrides the Constitution. Ain't that a bitch?
Yeah, you can't really do that. Yeah, I think it was just a really hastily worded section that they didn't really think through very clearly, and they didn't think of the consequences. But that's how a lot of places have been getting away with shadow banning and censoring people. And some of that, okay, yeah, like pervy pictures, that sort of thing, I get that. But they've been abusing it for years now.
Mm-hmm.
And
absolutely.
At some point, they had to know this was going to come back to haunt them. So they were getting away with it a lot under Obama. And I think they really picked the wrong pony to fight with.
Yeah, I think, and I said this earlier on the show, I think this is why Jack came out and basically apologized for what happened with Trump. If you read Trump's two tweets, there is a part of it that I could see and actually agree with correcting. There's a part of it where it makes it sound like Governor Newsom in California is just sending ballots to everybody in California. He actually says that.
Yeah.
Governor Newsom is sending ballots to everybody in California, no matter where they're from, or no matter how they got there, or something like that. You could think that, okay, that means every registered voter. Or you could think, oh, I don't even have to register to vote, and they're going to send it to me, which isn't true. You still have to register to vote in order to get the ballot. And that's fine. And if they'd come out and done that, that'd be no big deal. Unfortunately, what they did is linked to an opinion piece from Chris Cillizza.
Yeah, which CNN. Was completely fucking dumb. But that's who they have deemed an authoritative source.
Not only dumb, did not address that point at all. Not even a little bit. He quotes Trump and then he goes into why Trump's an asshole for not wanting mail-in voting. That's it. And Jack comes out. He's like, "Well, yeah, we kind of fucked that up a little bit. We're gonna link something else there instead that actually addresses that part." And
How
they've
about
done
you let
that.
people think for your fucking selves?
Look, if they had done that, I don't have a problem with this part, Jack, with making sure people aren't giving bad information on how to vote. Like almost every media company that I know of has a thing that if you post that election day is on the wrong day, they will take that post down.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
okay with
fine because it's misleading. That's
Yeah.
obviously misleading.
And in this
I don't have
case,
that big of a problem with that, but
right. And if this case, they just put a little thing at the bottom, California residents still need to register to vote to get a ballot, I would have been fine with that. But that's not what they did. And it's not what they originally meant either. But I think Jack, as soon as Trump said something's coming, Jack went, fuck. Because Jack knows how much he's gotten away with under Section 230.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a reason that old Mark Zuckerberg was like, I think what they did was wrong. Not to mention the fact that Mark has decided, or at least he said publicly, that they're going to try to be more free speech oriented over there.
Yeah, because the worst thing that could happen to any of these social media platforms is the government stepping in to oversee them.
Yep.
The chaos and the amount of money it would cost to regulate them is going to be an astronomical affair for them. Because you know how many people are using Twitter? Oh my God. Even Facebook, dying the boomer source that it is, they will have to double their workforce just to deal with all the complaints and reports to be compliant with the feds.
Ed says, Trump say I do things soon, be scared. No, they know Trump wasn't fucking around because he's warned about this before. They did have the big meetup where people who are in social media went up there and talked to the president. So he's been briefed on this shit and what's going on, and they have been hiding behind Section 230 for a long time. And look, if you're not getting rid of things that are illegal, then you shouldn't be. You should. That's what you can get rid of. You got some fucking map out there, get rid of his ass. Some pedo, get rid of his fucking ass. Nobody's going to argue about that they should be allowed to stay. But if you're talking about, I don't like their political opinion, here's what you do. Instead of kicking them off the internet, block, mute. That's what Section 230 was about, actually, was the ability to stop. You're an internet company that is going to give your users tools. That's why it's in there, is that they specify giving users the tools to take care of this stuff. That's in Section 230, for fuck's sake. I've read this thing way too many times, Jack. It's in there, and that's what should be happening. And instead, they've made themselves the arbiters of what is okay to say. And that's where they fucked up. And Trump is done with it because he knows. I don't know if he knows or if anybody actually believes this, but if you go back to 2016, so many people put such emphasis on how social media changed the election. Whether you think it was Trump used it very well, or whether you think the Russians got involved, whatever you think it is, they think that social media has that power. And when you start fact checking the president during his election run, and you are not doing the same to everyone else, you just put yourself in the political fight, man.
And it kind of looks like election interference.
You're going to there's grounds to be in trouble with the FEC. I mean, you're picking a winner.
Well, if he really wanted to go all crazy on it, he could see about having Jack arrested for election interference.
Yeah, there's
done that yet. But if they continue with, they want to pick this fight and keep pushing his buttons, yeah, I think that could happen. But he hasn't done shit like that yet, so we'll see.
Yeah, I just don't think that Jack wanted to be involved in this. I don't think he was directly involved in what happened there. That he got all the backlash because he came out, Jack, and he said, sorry, Jack and Jack, but he came out and said something to the effect, let's be clear. There's one person who's responsible for what happens here, and it's me. Which good for you. Buck stops here. But I don't believe that you had anything really to do with it, because I think Jack's a little smarter than that. Or he did have something to do with it and talked to his lawyers and went, fuck.
I don't think he's smarter than that. I don't think he has much hands-on day-to-day shit. I think he's just kind of there. Because he's always doing weird shit, going out to those temples and Buddhist crap.
Oh, yeah, he's a rich hippie, man.
Yeah.
You can't give hippies money. They don't want to spend it. He's always off in Tibet or some stupid shit. Yeah. I ate off the floor of Calcutta eatery. You mean the ground?
Yeah. Maybe there was magic dirt protecting him.
Probably. Let's see what's going on here. Gunshots ring out in Minneapolis as fires continue to burn all around. Yeah.
7 people were apparently shot in Louisville. Did you see Trump's tweet a few minutes ago on this?
No, I didn't, but this is awesome. Oh, my goodness. I got to show you something, Jack, and you've probably seen this if you've been paying attention. I've seen this going around, but I didn't pay attention to what it said at the top. And this is why I'm not going to be monetized tonight, guys, because we're talking about rioting. This is an MSNBC reporter. You ready for this?
I want to be clear in how I characterize this. This is mostly a protest. It is not, generally speaking, unruly.
Except for that burning building behind you.
He's standing in front of people just watching a building they helped burn. Look, it's generally not a bad thing. It's a good look. Most of these are good boys. It's a fucking riot, dude. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you can recover for so long. You should check out Trump's tweet. I threw the link in the.
Oh, let me check that out. Yeah.
That's probably going to inflame things a little further.
Oh, great. What did he say? These thugs are dishonoring the memory of George Floyd, and I won't let that happen. Just spoke to Governor Tim Walz and told him that the military is with him all the way. Any difficulty, and we will assume control. But when the looting starts, the shooting starts. Thank you. Wow. I told you. Yeah. You can't let this happen. Governor, get in there. Get your National Guard in there and give them whatever you think is going to stop it, but fucking stop it.
They only deployed 500 guys in some MRAPs or Hummers. I couldn't tell from the photo, but yeah, I don't know. This is not going to end well. But I'm a pessimist, blah, blah, blah.
Jesus Christ, man. It's sad that the Mexican drug cartel has a better control of Mexican streets than the police of Minneapolis have of Minneapolis.
Yeah. So, well, Portland's the same way.
Jesus fuck.
Seattle. There's a lot of places like that. Look, there's an ancient Chinese curse that says, "May you live in interesting times."
Oh, yes.
And I think we're getting that. We've got China acting up in the South China Sea, starting shit, taking over Hong Kong. They spread the virus everywhere. We've got civil unrest. If the sea starts turning to blood and it's raining frogs or something, I'm just going to stay inside for a while.
I'm just... they arrested the pawn shop owner who shot the guy, and his shop is now burned to the ground, if you didn't hear. I heard. I have a feeling that the arrest is probably
safety,
either his own safety or just normal protocol in a shooting, because that happens in places too. Not necessarily even end up charged, but yeah, with him not there, and especially with what happened. I mean, there's video of that guy having the chest compressions on the ground right outside of it where he died. And then, they burned it to the ground. Of course they did. Yeah.
If this had happened in a town with rooftop Koreans, I don't think it would be nearly as bad.
I mentioned this last night on Lords of the Night, like with what's going on there, you're going to have shop owners going there to protect their places of business, and somebody's going to get shot. And Scribe's like, no, they nobody's there. Everything's shut down. And it was, a couple hours later, like, I told you. This stuff isn't hard to predict. You're talking about riots and shit and people trying to protect their livelihood. This is what I keep seeing liberals talk about and getting it wrong. Like, you just care about business. This isn't business to this guy, okay? This is how he feeds his fucking family, how he pays his rent, how he takes care of things. That business he works in, that he owns, that's not just, oh, look, capitalism. That's how he takes care of his fucking family, you morons. That's just money. No, it's not. You guys brushing it off that way is fucking retarded. This is what was said in the chat earlier about, economics ties in. Because it's your job is not just your job. It's how you take care of you and your family. And when you are threatening people's livelihood, threatening, look, you're no longer going to be able to take care of your family. What the fuck do you think is going to happen? I got to be honest. I am surprised more people ain't been shot.
Yeah.
And I think you can mostly chalk that up to the fact that they've been hitting major corporations. Target, didn't they take down a McDonald's tonight?
I think they did take down a McDonald's today, but last night there was Wendy's, Aldi's. What was the other one? Oh, the Dollar Tree.
Oh yeah, Dollar Tree. They're mostly going after large corporate things that probably aren't going to have somebody inside with a gun.
Yeah, but they're not going to talk about the small places getting burned down. That doesn't get as much press. So
sure.
A lot of these shootings we're not going to hear about for a while. So
and you don't see CNN out there or this fucker at MSNBC out there crying about the low-income housing that got burned down. They're not going to talk about, Don't talk about how this is hurting poor people.
No, it doesn't fit the narrative.
I'm no fan of Obama, but to say he's a bigger clown than Trump is actually pathetic. I only have 14 words for you, Ed. If
57 states.
That time where his fucking teleprompter went out and he just got stuck on if is one of my favorite clips ever, because it is the joke was always the man was a teleprompter president, and that I always say if he didn't have his teleprompter and you listen to him, he sounded like a fucking moron, which is absolutely true. But in this case, his teleprompter goes out and he gets stuck on if it was fucking hilarious.
I thought it was a clipped thing where they looped it, but no, it was actually like that.
It was true, yeah. The great communicator. If he sounded like an if machine gun. It was wonderful. It was absolutely great. Like, oh, there's your great communicator. Well, power went out. Motherfucker can't speak now. If you ever saw him speaking off the cuff, he often sounded like a fucking moron because, well, he was. I mean, he's not a moron to the, like that dumb guy you work with. He's got some intelligence, not a lot. Donald Trump is smarter than people give him credit for. That's not to say he's an incredibly smart man either.
No, he's just crass and abrasive.
And he knows how to get what he wants.
Yeah, he's just not a refined, cultured person. But we've had a lot of presidents like that in the past.
He's never needed to be. The funny part, Jack, I saw this the other day. I don't know if you were here when I talked about it. Rush Limbaugh was trending yesterday. And by yesterday, not Thursday, but on Wednesday, he was trending. And he was trending because he went out there and he was talking about how Donald Trump has been tweeting the Joe Scarborough may have killed a woman thing.
Yeah.
And he goes, people don't understand what he's doing. What Trump is doing is just pouring fuel on the fire. He didn't say Scarborough was a murderer. He said people should go out there and check it, look into it, open the cold case is what he said. He says he never comes out and actually accuses people. He just pours gas on the fire and watches it burn. Yeah. And a whole bunch of media folks like, oh, Rush Limbaugh gave away the secret of Trump. Like,
Trump's never made that a secret.
It's not a secret at all. What the fuck are you talking about? You've been told this time and time and time again, and you don't listen. It's in his fucking book. Go read The Art of the Deal, for fuck's sake. Trump's playbook is out there, and you keep falling for it over and over and over again.
Excuse me, but Art of the Deal is like the Mein Kampf of business or something.
Look, I don't know how great of a business book it is, if it'll help you make great business decisions or whatever. But when it comes to manipulating people, Donald Trump is fucking amazing at it. You think whatever you want about the man. He is fucking amazing at manipulating, especially the press. Especially the press. And he knows if you manipulate the press, you manipulate the people.
Real quick, thank you, RJ, for the donation. What's the use of a lemon who spews out fake news? Fire him. And oh, Monkey, the guy who built your home got screwed by a bitch. Damn. Thanks, RJ.
Yeah. He left her, or she left him right as this was getting finished. Fucking bitch. So yeah, he dumped it off cheap to the family. Yeah, but it's cool. Worked out. A nice family got raised here. Now a second family's been raised here. It's cool. That's what happens when you don't burn shit to the ground when you're mad.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, it was his property. He could have burned it all up and just had not filed an insurance thing. Called the fire department. I'm going to burn this shit up. It's not arson. Get not a warrant, a permit or something to do it. He could have just torched this place. I'm sure he was angry about that, Jack.
Yeah.
I'm sure he was angry. You just don't go burn down everything every time you get fucking angry. Oh man. Wouldn't it be the ultimate irony if there was something critical for the prosecution being stored in the evidence locker of Precinct 3? Oh wow. Wow. Yeah, it would be. Camilla linked that to us from the Internet Historian. Yeah, that's I hadn't even thought about that. How many people that are guilty that have hurt some of you in that crowd did you just let go free because the evidence locker's gone?
Yeah. How many cold cases, murders, rapes, that sort of thing are now going to be thrown out?
Why didn't you prosecute this guy? You burned our evidence, dumb fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Fire breaks out as protesters clash with police. Fire breaks out. They keep saying fire breaks out. None of this shit is accidental. This isn't because like there's an overload of the power system. A spark caught the building on fire. It's fucking arson. Fire breaks. I love that. Fire breaks out. It's arson. An arsonist burned this fucking building. Oh my God.
Maybe the fire was started by an arsonist the cops were investigating. He was trying to destroy the evidence of his crimes.
Oh, man. Nah, I can't go to sleep. One more target, go up in smoke in Minnesota. Trump launching nukes.
I rule nothing out.
There's going to be a lot of people, though, that, oh, he only cared because they took out businesses. No, that ain't anything about this. The government has to get involved now.
Yeah. Well, if you read some of the comments under Trump's tweet, people are like, why don't you just call us the N-word? It's not about your race, dude. He's not a racist, as far as I can tell. He's a weird dude, but he's not a racist.
Why don't you stop burning shit down?
Yeah. Torching public buildings is generally a bad plan for your cause.
Look, they should have got involved when it was just businesses being destroyed.
Yeah.
Government, one of the jobs of government is to stop shit like that. Put down unrest. That's, part of their job. Violent unrest, let me say it that way. Peaceful protest is protected. Burning your city down is not. Sorry, guys, that's not how protest works. But they let that happen. And then you went after public works bill. I mean, you fucking torched a police station. It's Jack, it's almost like mobs don't think.
Yeah, it's almost like they have like a simplistic mindset when they're in large groups and angry. It doesn't matter what the racial demographic either. It holds true across all of them.
Yeah, I'm surprised we haven't seen people chanting, this is what democracy looks like since, mob rule and all.
Yeah, well, that is technically a democracy.
They attacked a library. They're attacking everything.
Why? What did the library do? Like hit them all with overdue fines?
Oh,
Come on.
no, I saw this, Jack. I have an answer for that question.
Wait, let me guess. Is it because literacy is somehow colonialist?
Look, he was a bad man, but he gave him the books to read. No, it is because that is a government building, and that supports the government.
No, that's the People's Building where they go to read things and look up porn on the internet like grown-ups.
Yeah, like anyone in the mob used the library. Fair enough. I want to know what these idiots are going to be eating.
Well, they won't be going to Aldi's, which is the cheapest place to eat, probably.
They're all going to have to be traveling quite a ways to get to anything they need. My question was toilet paper, Jack.
Oh, well, nobody has that. It's all regulated now. You can only have 2 packages.
But at least you could buy 2 packages. What are you going to do when there's no packages again?
Riot for more.
You notice this is the first time I've seen a riot where there's not burning toilet paper.
Oh, that's like liquid gold, man. You don't throw that stuff away. I'm surprised they're throwing Molotovs because you know how expensive shit is? I mean, gas isn't that expensive, but booze? Come on.
We're arguing about executive orders in chat. Yeah, if you don't like executive orders, you definitely shouldn't be defending Obama. I don't know if you actually were, Ed, but Obama was notorious, and the way he used them was just flat wrong. It's how we got DACA. That was absolutely unconstitutional, and the Congress fucked up by not challenging that. I don't know what else to talk about here, Jack. I see the world burning around me.
Yeah, everything's damn crazy.
I blame me being a cripple.
I blame the 19th Amendment. Women voting caused all of this.
You know, probably wasn't untrue. Of course, I wasn't defending Obama or Bush. Fair enough. Like I said, I just saw that one. I don't know. I haven't been following. Sometimes I look at chat and pay attention to it, dude. And I just caught that one part.
Sometimes that's a generous assessment.
That's true. Okay. Don't make me burn this motherfucker down. As for Trump's executive order today, I don't really have a problem with it in that, as far as I can tell, he wasn't changing law at all. He was asking for reviews and possible, what's the word I'm looking for here? Consequences for not actually following through on the good faith part. But again, that good faith part is so broad, and this is why I really support the executive order. This needs to go to the court. That Section 230 needs stricken and rewritten because it is way overly broad.
Yeah,
way overly broad, especially when we're in a point in time when everybody in the government and most people at large seem to think that social media has enough impact to sway an election. Once it becomes that powerful, I don't see how you can legally keep people off the platform. And that's kind of the argument that was made by the hashtag resistance folks when they got so mad that Donald Trump wouldn't unblock them. They took it before the court and like, this is him in public. We have a right to see this. Okay. If that's true, then everybody who hasn't committed some kind of crime or actual criminal behavior on the site, everybody who's an American has a right to be on there. Otherwise, you are keeping them from vital information. I don't see how you make, and I'm not saying you particularly, Ed, I'm talking about people who are going to argue this. I don't see how you can say social media is strong enough to influence the election and that you have to be able, if you're allowed to be on Twitter, to read Donald Trump's tweets, but it's okay to kick you off because you dropped an N-bomb one time. Or punish you for 7 days because you said somebody was as sensitive as a clit. You can kick me out for 7 days for that. Even though I have a desperate need to read Donald Trump's, I have a vested interest in reading Donald Trump's tweets. That's some election meddling that should not happen. You can't suppress people's access to information like that. So this shit needs to go. I'm not against the rule. I'm against how it happened. Well, how would you be happy that it happened?
Real quick. Thank you, RJ, for the donation. Paul Feig blamed Trump for Ghostbusters 2016 when he directed the shit film to begin with. LOL. Monkey and Jack think Ethan called Susan to get that video taken down critical of him. I'm starting to think he did. Wouldn't surprise me.
I don't know if he called them. I have no doubt that it came up when she met with them. I mean, the video from Turkey Tom, I meant to talk about that part of it yesterday. I just got distracted. Turkey Tom released a video about Ethan Klein and why people don't like him. And he brings up the whole timing here.
Did he talk about his weird eyebrows?
He didn't, unfortunately, because he seems to really want to be a fan of him. I don't know if he's actually honest in not liking him, because he's way too kind to Ethan through this whole thing. This wasn't a hit piece on Ethan Klein at all. This was almost okay, I have to talk about what a shithead he is. Maybe because, you have all this drama going on and it brings it up, so it makes it easy to see. But there's a time where we got new rules on YouTube where you were not allowed to harass other creators anymore. And in the blog post that Susan put up about this, she specifically says that she talked to several YouTubers about harassment from other people. One of them was Ethan Klein. And we know that they had met together and that conversation was had. Now, whether or not he actually got, what's his name, Gokinaru's video taken down, I don't know that he specifically mentioned that one to Susan. But it is funny that Ethan's like, I don't even know who this guy is when he talks about him on the one stream. But then you can see his search history and Gokinaru's name is in there. Yeah, he had no idea who he was.
Apparently, Keemstar even uploaded an edited version, and that still got taken down.
Rationality that isn't halfway achieved because our president is mad and pulled out his power card. I think the president was right to be mad there. Whether, like I said, I would have had no problem with it if they came out and said, you do have to be registered to get a ballot in California, and left it at that. And instead, what they did was linked to a hit piece from Chris fucking Cillizza against the president. The article was nothing but calling Trump a whiny baby. He tells us in that article, that Chris Cillizza fact check article tells us that the reason Trump is against mail-in voting is because he needs an excuse in case he loses, because he's a poor loser. That was the fact check.
That's pathetic.
I am not making that up. You can go to my Twitter timeline. I have the fucking article linked there. I believe like 3 times now. That's the ultimate conclusion. That's the ultimate fact check. And the president is absolutely right to have been pissed off by that. I would have been. I am. I'm not even him. That was disgusting what they pulled there. And for the president to go, you know what? That's enough. I understand it in that point. So sorry about the pop there, guys. That was just me being me. I know that bothers some of the listeners, so I try not to do that, Jack. I make a lot of mouth noises, and I really do. It drives my wife insane. You know who likes it? Little Butt, because she does it too. I
was going to say, that's kids love that shit.
Gamer says, I sent you an article about that, about what happened there. Yeah, I didn't see the article, but yeah, I know what happened there. When it first came out, as soon as this happened, I tweeted that out. I'm like, wait a minute, whoa. You linked to this as your fucking thing? I tweeted to Chris today, Jack, and he didn't tweet back at me. I asked him if he was embarrassed by Twitter coming out and apologizing for using his fact check. He didn't answer me. He's so shy about these things. How embarrassing is that, man? You're used as a fact check, and then the people who did it are like, "We're sorry."
Well, Chris Saliza and who's the bald motherfucker that looks like a potato?
Stelter.
Yeah, Stelter. They both seem like weasels.
Oh yeah.
Like they're the type of dude that if he handed a girl a drink, I'd be like, "Don't drink that."
No shit. Especially if she's 14.
Yeah.
Again, guys, I am not saying that Brian Stelter is a pedophile. I want to be very clear. I do not in any way think or have any knowledge of that.
This looks like one.
He looks like one. That is my professional opinion.
I bet he's got a sweater vest in his closet. Telling you, man, sweater vests and like Quisitor pointed out, bow ties. You combine those two, you immediately think that dude's driving an ice cream van with no vendor's license and like kids get in the back kind of look. Just saying.
It's now or never. In say 15 to 20 years, the laws will be SJW-fied if we don't react now. Well, here's Section 230 needs to be rewritten. It does. I'm all for the original intent of it, but if you go back, like I said, if you go back to the original intent of 230, let me bring that up again, Jack, so I can read this part. So you tell me what you think.
Okay. In the meantime, thank you, Mr. Scott. What's your favorite sub shop? Will Blimpies rise from the ashes? Oh, hi, Ranting Monkey.
Hello.
What's your favorite sub shop?
Oh, the only one we really have around here is Subway. My favorite ever was a place in Virginia Beach called Cal's. It's actually a pizza shop, but they did subs too. And I would always order my subs with extra oil, and they would come delivered. And these things they're cooked, but I ordered the oil because I don't like dry bread. And you would get mine had to be put in a special bag because the wrapping and stuff they put around it was soaked. Just soaked.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Oh, it was. Oh, I loved them so much. If I ever make it back there, I'll definitely get myself a Cal sub. It's my favorite ever. Yeah, absolutely. You?
I like Jersey Mike's, but I think Subway's like the bottom feeder version of everything. But Marco's, which I don't know if you have over there, Marco's Pizza, they make really good chicken subs.
We don't have those. We have there's a chain here called Mancino's. Theirs are okay.
Oh, yeah.
They're not bad. But Subway's, I used to love Subway, and then they started skimping on the meat the way they do now.
Oh, I hate that.
Yeah. We also had another place around here that used to have good subs, and they started doing the same thing. The last time I got a sub from them, I'm like, where's the meat on this thing? Because they literally put one thinly sliced piece of ham maybe every 2 inches. And
what?
Yeah, it is. It's horrible. It's a bread sandwich with a hint of ham in it. I'm like, oh, fuck y'all.
That's gross.
It's okay. You can order extra for a fee. Real quick, Evolved Potato over in the Streamlabs. Thank you so much. As far as I've seen, Trump's order this time is actually for what they were designed for. He directed for an investigation to happen, not for a change of laws or rules. Again, I haven't read it. Somebody sent me the text. I haven't read it yet, and I'm not going to do that while we're in the middle of the stream. But from what I've heard, I don't have a problem with it. I just think it's going to result in a lot of problems neither side is actually expecting. You're about to have the Minneapolis of the 230. But
they're going to burn it to the ground.
They are. But anyway, the specific part that they're targeting this is Section C or subsection C, Part 2A. Part 2 says civil liability. No provider or user of an interactive computer service shall be held liable on account of. This is A. Any action voluntarily taken in good faith to restrict access to or availability of materials that the provider or user considers to be obscene, lewd, lascivious, filthy, excessively violent, harassing, or otherwise objectionable, whether or not such material is constitutionally protected.
Yeah,
Now,
it's that last part.
Sure, but if you listen to the other things, you have, what is it? Obscene, lewd, lascivious, filthy, excessively violent, harassing. So you're talking nakedness, somebody being murdered, or people harassing other people. Not your political view. Not you don't like their politics. But because otherwise objectionable, fuck it. I mean, Jack can always say, look, I find Trump objectionable. The end.
Yeah, well, that gives you like this king-like power that, of course, is going to go to your head. But I don't know, man. I think that is so poorly worded.
Oh, it is. It absolutely is.
So many flaws there. Because anything can be offensive. Like, I'm offended by barn scenery. So all barns must be obliterated from my platform. No, that's fucking asinine.
The next part of it also says giving or forgiving people the ability. If you noticed in there, it's the user or the content provider can do it. So like if you wanted to block a giant dick from coming across your screen, okay, you can do that. Nobody can say that you can't. But you're right. It is very poorly worded, but it was written at a time when the internet was coming into being, and what they were worried about is people being held accountable for those things. Otherwise objectionable. They're not talking about, I don't like your politics. They're talking about pedophilia, bestiality, other objectionable things. Not, hey, I don't like the way you think about politics. So it does need to be revisited. And unfortunately, it's probably going to end up really fucked up over it.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, the last thing they want is the FCC or the FTC, and they're regulating them.
Yep. And that, like I said, I think that is why Jack was like, fuck, man. And sorry, Ed, I think Trump was justified here. When
it was bound to happen at some point. It's just Trump's the one that pulled the trigger on it.
They didn't even bother to link to a bullshit CNN fact check article. It was quite literally a Chris Cillizza opinion piece.
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding? Could you make it more obvious? Oh, God. And meanwhile, Biden can say whatever the fuck he wants and it's no problem. Because also remember, this did not become about that line. This did not have, nobody was talking about, this was done because of that line until Jack came out the other night. Before then, it was all about how Trump was misleading people by saying that mail-in ballots are easy targets for fraud. That's what they were talking about. And in that sense, Chris does kind of talk about that in his little hit piece he wrote there. He talks about, the prevalence of election fraud. And he really thinks he gets a good win in there, Jack, because he says the only real case that they know of election fraud happening in mail-in voting was from a Republican. Like, that's still fraud, you fuck.
Right?
You didn't make the case you think you did. You just proved it's easy. That's all you did, dumb motherfucker. But anyway, was it repeal platform protections unless they completely delete terms of service? Shark, I don't mind terms of service. Again, because if you get rid of all of it, I mean, that means you have to allow pedophilia. So you need some things. And to me, it's don't break the law. And if you want to have some harassment things, because harassment is one of those words that's in the eye of the beholder. I can still say I've seen harassment online. I'm not going to lie and pretend there's none. Right. Twitter has a ridiculously overbroad definition of it. But I'm not against some rules. I'm against silencing people for political reasons, or in this case, saying the president was lying and then linking to Chris Cillizza, Jack. For fuck's sake.
I know. That's what they see as like a fair and balanced approach. That's pathetic.
They didn't even go and find a fact check article.
Why
You
would
could
they
have.
do that?
They could have reached out to the Washington Times and like, could you guys real quick write one of these on this? And they'd been like, sure, we got a guy right over here who's willing to write one. They fact check this motherfucker all the time. You couldn't find a fact check article?
Hey, we're lucky they didn't use the Chinese government's news service or the Russian Times.
Bear says, let me give you an example of how harassment complaints can work on Twitter. A friend of mine was explaining an expression of his grandmother's native language. Okay, as you continue that, let me just give you one from Facebook. Blair White got in trouble for saying tranny. She wasn't even saying it to anybody. She used the term tranny and got kicked off because it's offensive to trannies.
People are such pussies now. Like, thicken your hide, kids.
Mm-hmm. And I still say, fuck you. Tranny is not offensive. There's nothing offensive about tranny. It's a shortening of transsexual, transgender, transvestite, whichever one you want to take. Oh, by the way, transvestite is also a no-no these days.
Yeah.
Because, fucking morons. But she is a tranny. Pete, yeah, I know. There's no smart explanation for what happened to Blair in that situation. I mean, that's right up there with Onision saying, wait till you get pregnant.
Yeah.
To Blair White.
That was so funny.
That was one of the greatest moments on the internet. Anyway, back to what Bear was saying. Somebody who had been spreading rumors at his expense decided to pretend that explanation was a death threat directed against her friend, which it demonstrably was not. I'm going to keep reading, but you're not surprising me about them at all. Literally got a 7-day suspension on Twitter for calling the actress from Game of Thrones a bimbo. And that was an instant one, Jack. That happened within like 3 minutes of when I posted it.
Wow.
I called her a bimbo because she said she wouldn't work in Georgia anymore because of the abortion restrictions. Meanwhile, she has no problem acting in countries that don't allow abortion at all. And me calling her a bimbo was the offensive thing of that situation. Yeah. I didn't even call her a cunt, man. I'd have called her a cunt if I knew I was going to get 7 days for it.
Right?
Jesus, my cousin had to do Twitter for me, man. That's always a hassle too. My cousin can never remember his password. Which actress? The one who played Stanza, the oldest Stark daughter.
Oh, Sophie Turner.
Sophie Turner, yeah, that's her. Yeah, during that whole thing when they had actresses boycotting Georgia, she came out against it, and it was immediately pointed out, like, bitch, you work in countries where they don't even allow any abortion, not just restricted abortion, none. But you're never going to work in Georgia because they restrict it a little bit.
So stunning, so brave,
so bimbo. And it's amazing how many of those actresses work in plenty of places where there's no abortion and they don't fight it. But in Georgia, oh my God. The Twitter admin decided to go along with her hallucination and gave my friend 12-hour timeout. This was August of 2018. Okay. My shortest one was 12 hours for calling somebody a dick.
I got 2 weeks for saying there's two genders.
Oof.
That was on Facebook. Twitter, I've only had 12-hour ones.
Zuby got kicked off for a whole day for calling a tranny dude. All right. What do you say? Okay, dude, to the transsexual. I'm sorry, transgender. That's the approved one, right? I'm trying to be good here.
They change it all the time.
Is transgender now offensive? Somebody let me know because they do. They change this shit way too often. Well, I'll be a monkey's cousin. Yeah. Everybody wants a president pop star while we edge ourselves into a monarchy. This whole country can get fucked. What monarchy? What are you talking about, Ed? Now, look, you're not going to get any argument from me that we treat the president with too much deference. That's not how. We give him way too much power. It's not how he was ever meant to be. And it's weird that we do that, especially because we were so against the monarchy, and that's not what was supposed to happen. 3 co-equal branches of government. But the idea that I mean, we've given the federal government way too much power. I won't argue with that. I'm just what kind of monarchy are we talking about here? I live in a commonwealth. That's a monarchy. Yes, and your toilet flushes the wrong way. So be quiet, Pete. No, I'm just talking with you. You can talk. I was explaining that to, I forget who I was talking to. They didn't know that about the Southern Hemisphere and toilets flushing the other way.
Yeah, that's how you know if you got kidnapped or not. And you end up in Australia.
Yeah. Their toilets flush backwards, you guys. The water goes up instead of down. I'm just fucking with y'all. It spins counterclockwise while yours goes clockwise. If you're in the Northern Hemisphere, just saying. Technically, the old definition of trans was shortened transverse. Transverse meaning existing. No. Not when you're talking about transsexual. It was transition was what trans came from. You're talking about that shit they're pulling now. Stop it, because you're going to bring up some cis bullshit. No, originally trans in this case meant transsexual. Transitioning your sexuality. Metric, how dare you go sit in the corner? Nobody does metric around these parts. Did Bear stop? I thought he was still tweeting. I was still reading, dude.
Yeah,
it doesn't go backwards. There's some Aussies in here that think their toilets are right.
Well, to them it is correct, but to the other half of the world it's wrong.
They're also not on board with banging Aborigines like I am. See, they're just wrong.
Nobody wants to bang Aborigines except you.
Excuse me, I'm somebody.
Yeah,
say nobody.
Nobody except you and other Aboriginals.
Sorry, I don't see this presidential trend leading to a conclusion where the people can feel like they're actually in control of the nation. I get you. But the people were never in control of the nation. That's not it. We have representatives that go run the country for us. That's what we do.
Yeah, it's a representative republic.
And if your representation in the government is smaller than the other guys, then they win. I mean, I'm wondering what kind of control you want to feel, I guess, if that makes sense. Anyway, it doesn't go. Oh, I read that one. Australia is barely on the planet. Who cares? How you doing, Tibbs? Sorry, now I'm down to reading chat. We'll be wrapping up here in just a couple of minutes, guys. Sorry, I needed to get this one off my chest immediately. The earliness of this one. But again, that's how this started. One night I just had more to say. And so this was kind of a throwback. I'm not going to tell you it's not going to happen again. It's just not something I plan very often. And without us having game streams and stuff right now, my internet I have for my gaming not working worth the fuck. Jack is pissing me off, man. The download speed, I pay for 50 meg down, right?
Yeah.
It's getting speeds of up to 100, which is fucking amazing because there's no cap on it. It's just at least 50. Yeah. I only get a cap if I go over my usage because I pay for unlimited, but I have unlimited speed of for the first 100 gigabytes I use on there each month. After that, I'm put behind other people. So it, but except for, unless I'm trying to use it during the middle of the day, I still usually at least get 50, but it's up to 100 download. The upload will not top 1.5. And I need it to be at least 3 to stream. I'm like, motherfucker, what the hell? And I can't get a hold of them because, everybody's sick from the COVID. So I have to email them. Anyway, I mentioned that my friend was still locked out of his account. Oh, wow. He's still locked out? Did he delete his tweet that he was supposed to? I've seen people, and I'm not saying that that's what happened there. I've seen that happen with people where they get a suspension, and oftentimes it's not a suspension. I've logged into my Twitter, and the first thing I see is this needs deleted. I'm like, fuck it, and I delete it, and I get right back to access. Sometimes it's delete this, and it's like, oh shit, I have a 7-day ban. I really love that it doesn't start until you get rid of the thing, because they want to make sure you get the full experience. Like they could, you don't log on to your account for 2 days and you come back to a 7-day suspension. It starts from when you first see that they gave you a suspension. It is so petty as shit. But I've seen people actually fight. Like, I'm not deleting that. Like, it's just one tweet, man. Screen cap it and bitch about them doing it. That's what everybody else does. Shit. Yeah. It's I don't know. Okay, just evened out my exaggeration and agreed with me. I'm not sure what you mean by it. Are you talking to us?
I don't know. My screen froze for a minute, so I missed a lot of what's going on.
Oh, there's people in there.
Yeah, they're yelling at me about something. I did see Dangerous Spaces pointed out that Australians aren't the only people whose toilets flush the wrong way. He didn't word it quite like that, but I interpreted it that way. And he's right, but most of those other places don't matter. So be happy you're the only ones in the Southern Hemisphere we care about.
What happens on the equator? Does it just go straight down?
I don't know.
There's got to be some place on the planet where where it reverses, right? A specific.
I assume that's the Hollow Earth.
Could be. I wonder what happens where you flush there if it just goes straight down. Oops, I was going to write. Seems like you haven't been. And I don't know what we're talking about there. The point was we give the president too much power, but if he agrees with us, we jizz our pants when he abuses it. I don't believe he abused power here. I have been critical of the president when he did something I thought was right, but for the wrong reason. I've absolutely done that. Where I've said, I believe this is the right thing to do, but the way he went around about it was wrong. In this case, I don't think he was wrong. We just disagree on that part, Ed. You think this is some abuse of power. You don't like why he did it. I think why he did it was fine. When you're running an election and they fact check you with an opinion piece, I think it's perfectly fair to start questioning whether or not they are using the section 232A properly. Anyhow, Jack, I think I'm going to wrap up here.
Okay.
It's been a good talk. I'm glad you were here to hang out with me tonight. Always a pleasure, sir.
Always a good time.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for coming and hanging out. And thank you for your generosity. You guys were amazing tonight. You're good every night. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to get in the habit of being like, thank you guys. You were so very generous tonight. But some nights, you just get all of them. You're like, there's so much love here tonight. Thank you for supporting what I do. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, I understand.
But I also don't want to seem like I don't appreciate it on the other nights, because you guys are amazing to us. And there's not enough thanks in the world I can give you. You're the reason my cripple ass can sit here and do this. I appreciate it. Jack, anything you want to show?
I'll throw a link to a video in there. And thanks for the donations, everyone. It's very generous. You guys are awesome.
Friday? Is that what this is? Yeah.
Sure.
We'll be on Scribe Lights channel, 9 p.m. Eastern time for Lords of the Night. No game stream. We are on at least a little break from that for a couple of weeks. Satsu wanted to take a couple of weeks off from it. So if I can get a game stream up, I'll do it. If not, just look for the next Monkey in the Morning. Follow on Twitter as always, guys. So you know what's going on. Just pulled a little Matt Christensen, as always. I love how he says that.
Yeah.
As always. He's such a, man, Matt Christensen. I am jealous of the way he speaks. Because he's not monotone to the point of being boring, like, say, Ben Stein in Ferris Bueller's Day Off kind of thing.
Yeah.
But he's got this monotone that is hypnotic. And then he goes, as always. I fucking love it. Anyway, guys, that's Matt Christensen. If you don't follow him on Twitter and YouTube, make sure you do. Thanks for watching, Jack. Thanks for hanging out. Ladies and gentlemen, Enjoy the rest of your Friday, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
I'm gonna sing about